All right.
Welcome to the Loveland Report and the Lone Ranger Show. I am Cleve Loveland, Central Florida's best real estate planner, alongside
Bruce Woodburn, the Lone Ranger.
That's right, the best mortgage originator in the world, in the known universe. And we're going to give you all of your real estate news, all of your mortgage news. I get a good laugh when I watch the talking heads on TV try and talk real estate. Or my favorite is the pretty ladies they bring on that sell the bazillion-dollar homes.
Right.
Yeah. I like listening to them. I like seeing the homes.
But that's so uncommon. Like, it's
like
fun
to watch. It's good TV. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like watching Housewives of LA.
Everybody needs a 30,000 square foot mansion on Biscayne Bay, right? All right. And so, today I want to talk about resale value, the number one ad people can do when they're in their home and they're thinking about spending money on it and they're going to be there for a while. I think this is the number one thing that's come about. And then also we're going to talk about summer sales and rates. You've got some good news on rates. And then I'm going to talk about negotiations. Sometimes people think the contract's all you negotiate on. You get your price and that's it. But there's all kinds of times and things you can do to get a better deal. And we're going to talk about that too. What do you got, Bruce?
Well, I do want to talk about the health of the market, what's going on with interest rates right now. Are they going to get better? Are they getting worse? We're going to hit that in this show. And then Cleve and I are going to be teaching our Leapfrog class on June 26th at 6:30 at Tibby's in Winter Park. Go to webringyouhome.com to register for that. We're going to talk a little bit about what you're going to get out of that class. And then there was some recent announcements with VA. So if you're a veteran, you want to know how the NAR settlement will affect you and how you need to deal with that when it comes to compensation to a buyer's agent. And they had found that there had been some steering going on because of this whole settlement, because it's just an uproar. Nobody knows the rules. So I want to talk about the steering issues that NAR is talking about. And then hometown heroes, I definitely want to get these last minute people that are sitting on the fence and haven't jumped in yet. They're going to miss the boat. And I'm going to talk about why you don't want to miss the boat on that. So we got some healthy things to cover. Let's start off. You want to go with the health of the market?
Well, I want to talk about rates. That's probably the best news this week.
Rates have been the number one reason people aren't buying right now. It's the number one reason. Yep. And it's just gotten in the way of so many people. But we've seen a bit of an improvement. Now, we're not talking about massive improvements. We're not in the fives or anything, but interest rates are settling back down into the high sixes again. We've locked a few loans in the mid to high sixes this week. So they have improved. The Fed is met this week. There's no chance that they're going to drop rates. There's no chance.
The next Fed meeting has already happened. And I think we got two. What's interesting,
well, the
Bruce,
Fed meetings happened. The next one hasn't happened.
But there's two before the election, I believe.
Yes.
And that's what's interesting because.
You're going to see them manipulate that.
They're going to, even no matter what, you're going to hear a bunch of word salad out of the Fed guys.
Of course they will.
Right before the election. And my favorite, who's the bumbling old lady?
She's
Secretary of Treasury.
Yellen.
Is it Yellen? Yeah, oh God. Anyway, but I think Yellen. We will see the rates. We'll see a little cut. There's going to be one before the election to help out.
Well, they say that September has got about a 57% chance that they won't drop it. So that's a 43%.
All right, this is my deep state conspiracy. I say there's a 100% chance they drop that
one. Ooh, let's hold Cleve to that one.
You mentioned something, Bruce, about you got some people with good credit scores in the sixes.
Right.
I had a buyer who's going to be talking to you. He's got a score around 600. Right. And probably his lease is 3 or 4 months. He's got 3 or 4 months on his lease. We're going to start looking at homes next month. But so he's going. I told him, you need to apply now,
of course,
because you can tell people how you can straighten that out. You can help get that score up.
The perfect scenario is 6 months, but it doesn't have to be that way. But if you've got marginal credit, then I've got 6 months to clean you up. If you just take my guidance, we'll guide you in the right direction, bump your scores up, because your interest rate doesn't have anything to do with the lender. It has everything to do with you. How much are you putting down? What are your credit scores? How long you've been on the job? What are your debt ratios? This is what impacts your interest rate. If you call and say, hey, man, I'm complaining about interest rates and I got a 600 credit score. Well, you determined your interest
And what
rate.
helped this buyer I was talking to, and his parents are customers of mine. And it was funny because he goes, he goes, I have a bunch of things I have to pay off. I'm like, no.
Don't
hang on.
pay anything
Talk
off.
to Bruce, get your application in, and you will tell them exactly, you feed it into your supercomputer.
Absolutely.
And it spits out what they need to pay off to help get the score up.
That's right. Right.
And it's not always a payoff or a closing the account.
No. So listen, I have looked at accounts that were maxed out and I ran it through the credit enhancement computer, and this thing is amazing. And I got no benefit by paying off a debt. Then I take another one and I pay it off, and it gives you 30 points. So you don't know as the consumer which one of your accounts are going to have the greatest impact. Don't ever close old accounts. If you've got an old credit card that you've had for 15 years, I don't care if the rate's 150% interest rate, don't close it.
Yeah.
Keep a $5 balance on that, because it's the oldest cards that are giving you the most bang for your buck, provided that they're in good standing.
So do you think we've had some good stock market inflation news this week? Do you think the trend will be hopefully 7s and 6s over the next 3-4 months?
I think that interest rates are going to probably stay pretty close to where they are. I don't think we're going to see a giant increase, and I don't think we're going to see a big decrease. I think things are going to be a little rocky. I think that one week it's up and the next week it's down, but I don't think that we're going to see any type of break in the action until after the election.
So my takeaway for the buyers out there would be, okay, get in now. We know prices are going up more than this interest rate is costing you. And the thing to do is we get a buy down.
Right.
We get a 1-1 or a 1-0 buy down.
1-0 buy down. We can explain
interest
how
rate.
those
So
work.
if your rate's going to be 6.99,
if your rate right now was safe 7 and you did a 1 buy down, you're going to have 2 years of 6% interest rate. You do a 1-0 buy down, you have 1 year at 6%, then it goes to the 7. So you have a 2-1 buy down. You start at 4%, then 5, then 6, then 7. So
there's but this is part of the negotiations. This is what to ask for up front. And we're going to dive into negotiations later in the show. But I think it's just very important you get into the house now and know your numbers.
Well, the average person out there thinks that is some type of just encouragement because we're in the industry. So I just want to address this because you got to address what people are thinking. So they see you and I up here. We are professionals in the mortgage and real estate industry. So we have a motive to want people to keep buying. But I'm going to tell you, this is not a sales ploy. I'm telling you, and Cleve is telling you, that if you wait for interest rates to drop, you will pay a higher price than you will today. Yes, your interest rate's a little bit higher, but you can refinance it. I don't charge any lender fees on my refinances from cross country to cross country. So you're going to get the benefit of lower cost to refinance. But if you waited for interest rates to drop, Cleve, you're going to wait for the housing prices to go up. And when everybody jumps back in the market, the first-time home buyer, the low down payment guy, the VA buyer with no money down, the FHA buyer with 3.5% down, the first-time home buyer trying to get down payment assistance won't. This. If you got 15 offers on the table, and 2 of them were down payment assistance, and 2 of them were 20% down, which one are you going to negotiate
down payment
with first?
Assistance, it takes longer.
Last on the list.
It takes longer, and I got to tell my seller, look, this is a maybe. This is going to go sit on somebody's desk at the city.
And even a veteran, I hate to say that, but veterans, because they put no money down.
Well, let's give out numbers because fast tracking is the next.
First of all, call the loan arranger. Let's get this process started right now at 407-250-9144, 407-250-9144, or WeBringYouHome.com. Cleve Loveland.
All right. I am at 407-352-8118 or cleveloveland.com. And we talked about it, Bruce. And we're going to go back into that. I see multiple offers now, Bruce.
They're starting to come
which is kind of
in.
weird. Even we haven't had 8%, 7% interest rates in 15 years or 16 years. And I didn't see multiple offers back in 2001 and 2010. No. I just didn't see them. Saw a little bit of them around 2005, 2006. But this is what's important. Get fast tracked and your loan's done.
Right.
Then there are no ifs, ands, or buts.
Fast track is a full loan approval before you go under contract.
And you are golden to negotiate on something like that. That's what we need when you're shopping. Well, it
positions the buyer to be as close to a cash buyer as possible. Who do you think's going to negotiate better, a cash buyer or a finance buyer? So if you're not a cash buyer, you have to appear to be a cash buyer.
That's right. So I want to talk about the number one thing right now, big resale value add when people are working on their homes. And I think this started in the early 2000s, Bruce. And what happened was, it's funny. Older homes built in the 50s and 60s usually didn't even have an exit. They didn't have a glass door or a door leading out to the backyard. No. It was kind of weird. I don't know why. Then that developed. And then all of a sudden there's a back porch. Then there's a screened-in porch. Then there's a pool. And all these things we didn't have. But the big thing I think that started about 20 years ago was the outdoor living area. I think this is one of the best things you can do. And this is the patio with the barbecue grill.
My favorite place in the house.
Gazebo to watch the, and even if you don't have a backyard, you can create a view with landscaping. I mean, excuse me, you don't have a view, you can create one with just, a fountain, koi pond, a spa, whatever you're going to do.
Just nice plants and flowers too.
Yeah, but just a fire pit, a pizza oven, all these things. This is what's come about lately. The indoor-outdoor TV around the built-in wet
very
bar.
Popular.
I got a house I'm listing over in South Orlando. This guy's got the mega. It's the biggest outdoor bar I've seen. It looks like something from inside of a bar. It's 20 feet in circumference, and it's just covered with nice roof over it. Couple TVs, couple big flat screens underneath it to watch whatever you're watching and enjoy his water. He's got a water view.
Somebody that likes.
But the outdoor space, is what's different about a house, and when that's nice. But if people walk out back and it's a jungle, or they walk out back and there's nothing, and I see this sometimes when they'll modify a home. I was in a home the other day. They enclosed the back porch to add livable square footage. Okay, great. But then there's no place to, the barbecue grill was sitting under the roof outside and no open patio. So things like that. But this is what you got to think about when you're doing your resale. Hop onto Houzz, or look at some pictures, just Google, backyard, gorgeous backyards, and you'll get some, outdoor living.
Yep. And if you need the money to pay for it, you can do a home equity line. You can do a cash out refinance. The loan arranger's right here to help you. I've been in the mortgage business for 35 years. I've closed tens of thousands of transactions, and I'm helping families just like yours refinance, cash out, home equity line of credit, build on your own lot, buy a lot and build on it. Yep. We're doing renovation loans. Everything's going on right now. But if you want to put that summer kitchen in, a summer kitchen right now, if you're going to have an ice maker and a fridge and one of those built-in barbecues are 4 times more than a regular barbecue. Yeah. Right. So you want all that stuff with your surface plates and all that, you can do it. Probably cost you 25, 30 grand to put that in.
And I've got a question for you I got a gentleman that called me about building it's an investment home. He's building a new home on a lot, and this is up in Volusia, and you're going to own the lot. And then how much do you need down? Like, if it's going to be investment, is it still 20 or 25% down?
Still 20, 25%.
Okay.
For investment.
So the lot value could go towards building the home.
You can do an investment loan for as little as 15% down, but
it's not going to cash flow then probably.
Well, but 15% down, you're going to pay a higher rate and you're going to pay PMI. You might as well put 20% down. It's better.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Cleve Loveland, you can reach him right now at 407-352-8118. He's got agents on call today, 407-352-8118, or Bruce Woodburn, the loan arranger. He can be reached, and I've got loan officers on call and out in my builder communities today, 407-250-9144. That's 407-250-9144, or WeBringYouHome.com. We got about a minute, and what do you want to cover? Our class?
Well, I was just checking to see if we got our inventory numbers, because I'm seeing a lot more markets, Bruce. We're in a seller's market. There's about a 4-month supply, but I am going
which is
into
more than we've had in a long time.
It is, but I'm going into some markets and this is what's important about knowing your numbers. And I just took a listing 3 months on the market. They didn't see their realtor once. That realtor would respond to text, and that realtor would call them when they called the realtor. But they did not get sold. And then when I sat down with them, I said, hey, 6 of your neighbors sold over the last 4 months. It was a little bit out in the country. But I said, hey, other houses on 2 acres this size, here's 4 other people that sold right around you.
You're not selling.
And they had pools, and they were a little bit more square footage. You're right below their price. I think we need to do a small adjustment. We did a small adjustment and accessed and made access a little easier to get into. House is under contract. So call me at 407-352-8118.
So that was just with a little bit of advice. You were able to
marketing
get
advice.
the house under contract. Cleve Loveland, 407-352-8118. Bruce Woodburn, the Loan Arranger. WeBringYouHome.com or 407-250-9144. We got the loan for you. We got the realtor right here for you. Buy or sell. Call us. Cleve and I will be back in 5 minutes with more of the Loveland Report and the Loan Arranger Radio Show. Don't go anywhere.